Hey guys, my name is Dwayne Sherrill, and this is My Wife as a Board Gamer, a show about my love for my wife, my love for board games, and what I'm doing to bring the two together. Now, being someone that has lived in Michigan all his life, I've always wanted to go up north and see the waterfalls. I've always looked at them in pictures, and I was like, man, that would be so cool to go see them in person. Well, a couple years ago, a close friend of mine said, why don't you just go ahead and do it and stop talking about it? So that same year, last weekend in September, me and my wife got in the car and we drove up to the Upper Peninsula. And it was breathtaking. We went to Quantimal Falls and we looked at some other falls and just took in the sights. And we loved it so much that we decided to do the same thing the very next year. So I guess you're wondering, what has that got to do with board games? Well, last year, I got a game in the mail that I had kickstarted called Parks. Parks is a game that showcases the beauty that is our national parks. In this game, we are hikers that trek wilderness trails, taking in the wildlife and taking in the scenery and visiting national parks. It uses resource management and set collection in order to get victory points. And of course, whoever has the most victory points wins the game. Let's go to the table and see how it plays. So this is Parks set up on the table. Now, before I go through the talk through, I want you to take a moment and take in the production of this game. With the exception of this mat here. This mat was available for purchase separately. But everything else is part of the game. You got these really nice components, the wooden components. You got your tree, water, sun, mountains. And you got different wild animals. Like, look at this. You got the little falcon, and you got a buffalo, and a turtle, and a dolphin, and all that. And over here, you got photographs, which I'll go into later on. You got these parks that you're trying to visit. So look at this. Look at the art on these cars. You got Royal National Park, which is right here in Michigan. You got Yellowstone. You got Bryce Canyon. And then let's go through here. Look at this. Glacier Bay. Olympic National Park. You got Mount Zion National Park. I hope you can see that okay. I've actually been to Mammoth Cave National Park. You got this one. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that one, but it's beautiful. The art on these cars are beautiful. And you got your little wooden hikers right here, that are hiking on the trail. And so pretty much on your turn, to start the game first, each player gets a campfire token. First player gets this nice real token, and the second player gets this camera. And then everybody gets a random canteen, and they got a random secret objective. So like, let's say this secret objective says, visit 5 parks with sun. Okay? So on a player's turn, they would take their hiker, and they will move their hiker up this randomly generated trail. So this trail is broke up into pieces, and you would shuffle them up and put them down here randomly. And there are base locations of the trail. So like you got this valley, you got the mountain, you got the forest, you got the ocean, you got this vista. And then you have another level of the trail that is randomly shuffled in. There are 4 of them because this game lasts 4 seasons. And so this one will be the lodge, and it gives you a special ability at the bottom of these locations. Now, this is the first season, and this first season, parks cost 1 less to visit. Now, if you see on these parks, at the bottom, these are the resources you need to have in order to visit this park. So in order to visit this, I would need 3 trees and 4 sun. And I could spend these to visit this park, and that would give me 5 points at the end of the game. So this also shows how you would seed the trail. So at the bottom here, if you can see it, there's sun, water, sun. So that will tell me to seed the trail starting from the second location in that sequence. So sun, water, sun, then start over, sun, water. So on a player's turn, they will take their hiker and they would move their hiker up the trail as far as they want to go. Now, the thing about it is your hiker can never go backwards. So I might move this hiker here, and that means I can get 2 sun from the supply and put them in my play area. Okay. Now, let's say my wife, she loves the color purple. Let me see if you guys remember the song. If you could tell me where that song comes from, you get mad props. Okay, so she will move here. Now, she can't move here because no 2 hikers can share the same space. The only way she can move here is if she takes this campfire and extinguish it. Okay, then she can visit that same spot. So let's say she didn't do that and she goes here. So she will get a mountain from the supply, and then she will also pick up this water droplet. Okay, on my next turn, I can still move this guy and leave this guy here. Now remember, I can't share the same space with another hiker, even my own. So let's say I take this hiker and I move him all the way up here. So that means I get 2 water from the supply and I will pick up this sun. Now, anytime on a turn that I pick up a water droplet, I could take a water droplet and fill my canteen. So this is my canteen here. And if you can see it, if I put a water droplet here, that would get me 2 sun. So let's say I do that and I take 2 sun. Now, at the most, a player can only have 12 resources. So right now, I'm halfway there. I got 6 resources. Okay. So now, we will continue doing that. And remember, we can never move backwards. So we have to be very aware of where we move our hikers. So let's say all these hikers are here. Whenever you move a hiker here, you could do one of 3 things. You can go here to reserve a park. So reserving a park will mean that I could take this park here and put it face down in my play area and then reveal another park. The first player that does that will either keep the first player token if they already have it, or they will gain the first player token. Now, the other thing I could do is I can go here and buy gear. So there's gear available here that I can buy, and they'll give me special abilities like this one. If I buy this gear, that means for the rest of the game, parks cost 1 less water to visit. Okay. And I will pay, this will be the cost of it right here, that's sun. But if I'm the first player that does that, I get a 1 sun discount, if you can see here. And so buying this would cost me nothing, but I could buy this and it would cost me just 1 sun. All right. The other thing I could do is if I go here, I can visit a park. So I can either visit one of these parks that I have up here that I had the resources for, or I could take one of the park that I reserved and I could visit this park. So let's say I had 3 trees in my supply, So I could say, hey, I'm going to visit this park. I will place it down. I will spend these 3 trees, spend 4 sun, but of course I only spend 3 because of the season says I can spend 1 less sun. And I place this here, and that's going to give me 5 points at the end of the game. Now, let's talk about this spot here. This spot here, I can, when I visit there, let's say I move my guy here, I can either gain another canteen, so I would draw a random canteen, and it would give me another special ability, put it in my play area, or I can take a picture. So it costs 2 resources to take a picture. But whoever has the camera gets to spend one less resource. So let's say my wife, she has the camera, or me, that's my guy. She's purple. Let's go back here. And she decides to take a picture. So she will reach in and get a random picture. Now, the cool thing about this game, they really paid attention to detail. All these pictures are random. So there's no duplicate pictures in there. And each of these pictures, she would take this picture, put it in her play area, and then this picture would be worth 1 point at the end of the game. So you could just while you got the camera, you could just keep taking pictures. Look at that one. Oh man, is that bison? Oh yeah, let's look real close there. Yep. So anyway, now I can go there. I don't have the camera. I will have to spend 2 resources to take a picture. But let's say I did that and I spent these 2 resources to take a picture. Oh man, that's a mountain range. Put it in my play area. Then I would get the camera from my wife and put it in my play area. Okay. Now, let's say my wife has her meeples here and my meeple here. So her last move is she's going to move here. Okay. Then that doesn't mean that I got free reign. I can just take my time. No, if I'm the last person on the trail, I have to go all the way here. And that means that's the end of the first season. Now, whoever has the camera gets the opportunity to take one last picture. And then we would take this whole trail, remove anything that hasn't been obtained, which of course most of it is already going to be gone. And we would take up this trail and we would add another random piece to the trail like this one, and we would shuffle it up and then reveal the trail again. So the trail gets a little longer. So let's just say that happened. But of course we would shuffle it. Okay, and then we would take all our hikers, put them right back here. We would discard this season card and draw another season card. So this season says add water on the 3 current parks. So these parks will get some water. That means if we visit these parks, we will also get another water droplet. And then we would do that whole thing again. And so at the end of the game, whoever has the most victory points wins. And you get victory points by the parks you visit. You would get victory points by the number of pictures you have. You would add all that up. Also, you would also get a victory point for whoever has the first player token. Oh, one more thing I forgot to mention. Whenever your hiker gets here, and if you have an extinguished fire like this, you get to flip it over. That means you can visit a location that somebody else is in again. And that pretty much, I hope I explained it well. Like I said, look at the component. It is a beautiful game, and it makes me feel nostalgic about when I went up north. And that is a talk through of parks. So a couple of things before I tell you what I think. This is the board that comes with the game. So you do have a place to display all your cards. And also, I neglected to tell you that the little wooden meeples, the animal ones, are considered wild tokens. So you can use them in place of the sun and the mountain and the forest and the water to visit the parks. Aren't they cute? So anyway, so that was parks. Now, what I love most about board games is I look at board games as works of art that displays the amount of passion and creativity that these designers and publishers put into making the game that special. So, and as you can see, Parks is a beautiful game. So, Parks is published by Keymaster Games. It plays from 1 to 5 players, so it does have a solo mode. It's for ages 10 and up and lasts about 30 minutes to 60 minutes. My wife saw me setting this up on the table, so she immediately was like, okay, when you're done, we're going to play. So she has spoken. So this has been my wife as a board gamer. If you enjoy the content of this video, press the like button, also share, and if you're looking forward to future shows, subscribe and welcome aboard. See you next time.